Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, in anticipation of the Live Letter 32, which is this Friday, we'll be sharing some of our moments that we hope to hear about, as well as some little tidbits of news off the Lodestone, as well as the Finaland/Eorzea Times interview that was done with Naoki Yoshida at Gamescom, which just got translated and transcribed in the last week or so. But anyway, I am one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Poveromo. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka you my boy Blue. How you doing, Slyh?
You gotta have the NPR voice going. Welcome to State of the Realm.
Are you sure that's not the Miz voice?
Your weekly NPR.
You're getting pretty close to it right there. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you had an NPR voice going. I don't know why. Like, are we on NPR?
Well, my microphone's been acting up a little bit lately, so I wanted to keep it nice and soft, so that way everybody listening can enjoy the sweet sounds of my voice as I serenade them. It's a lot of S words. It's kind of weird. This week is one of those dry weeks that we have, sort of while we're waiting for the patch. The good news is, today is the 13th. We are 2 weeks out from the patch. It feels like it's been longer than it has. It's been 3 months practically to the day since our last patch at this point.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, not really. I mean, it's expected. It's just, one, I'm happy because next 2 weeks shows are pretty much written, set in stone.
Yeah. I don't have to send you a script. You already know the scripts for the next 2 weeks.
already have a script ready and everything. You know I don't have one ready, even though it's already ready. I haven't done anything. I don't have to do anything.
Nope.
Can't talk. Nope.
Not like I should be asking you to do more, but I'm not.
Yeah. Thanks.
I want to let you enjoy your attempt at staying spoiler free for Persona 5 for the next 5 months.
Thanks. I'll do my damnedest.
It's going to be a very moist time. Sorry, I had to read I couldn't help but read the chat. That's a great word, isn't it?
Are you going to include moist in the title?
It's a moist. It's the state of the moist. Moist of the realm.
Moist.
I want cake now.
Soft.
Cake is the only thing that the word moist can be used for. Be moist. Everything else is not allowed to be moist. It's a word only made for cake.
Really? Nothing else is allowed to be moist.
Nothing. Only cake. That's it. So before we can get to the patch 2 weeks from now, I first want to kind of discuss what we're looking forward to coming up this week. Normally, we save announcements for the end of the show, but considering our anticipation of it, next live letter is this Friday. It's only been 3 weeks since the last one.
9:30 PDT, 12:30 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and I think that's like 4:30 GMT or something. I don't know, because daylight savings is stupid, so I don't know where the hell we stand. Time is stupid, so I don't know I don't know if it's GMT -7 or GMT -8 for me, because it changes depending on what time of year it is.
Now, in terms of this live letter, there has been a lot of questions. Well, one main question: will we have a trailer? Normally speaking, we don't have trailers at live letters, though.
No, that's not true. 2.4, we actually had a trailer at.
Yeah, and that's been the only case.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, what was really interesting about that one is the morning of Fan Festival registration, the 2.4 trailer hit the Lodestone, and then the next day it was essentially on replay for the entirety of Fan Festival whenever they weren't doing a panel.
Yep.
I think I'm thinking Friday morning and then Friday night is the live letter, and then they'll play it at the start of the live letter just to let everyone know that it's there.
Worst case scenario, if it doesn't happen live letter, it will happen next week.
No, it's got to be based on the previous trends. It's usually 2 Fridays before, because this Friday we have live letter and trailer. Then they release the website and it's like half populated, half not populated. Then next Friday is prelim notes.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to happen before prelim.
It's got to happen before the prelim notes. To me, it's got to be this Friday. That's my thought on the whole thing.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
You don't think it's going to be this Friday?
I'm still thinking next week.
You're not optimistic at all, are you?
No. Not at all.
Not after all the game delays that have happened in the past couple of days? Not optimistic.
See, I'm a realist about those. We can talk about that after in post show, but
yeah, we can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this Friday, what are you looking forward to seeing or hearing about the most?
I'm curious about the Wondrous
Tales.
Wondrous Tales. If it's
Do
going to be
you
like
really think that's going to be that, like...
I really think it makes me cringe thinking about it, because every time I think of it, I think of Animus. Like, this little girl is going to go have us go into dungeons and then do fates and all this shit. Like, it's not going to be as worse as bad as Animus books, but I still cringe thinking about it.
I could see why you're like, because that's along with squadrons. That's kind of like, or platoons, whatever.
Squadrons, yeah, well, yeah, whatever you want to call them. I'm curious about as well, but yeah.
I agree with my chat. I feel like it's going to be another sightseeing log. I essentially imagine it's a book of quests, essentially, that aren't like
book.
Yeah, a book.
Many chapters.
A book has many pages, though.
Yeah, with many chapters.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what Sophie's going to look like.
Yeah, that to me is after they specifically noted Alexander and Sophia as having very different designs and very hard. They worked hard on the design and the music. I think I want to hear one of those 4 new Alexander tracks most specifically. I remember one of the hypest moments of the 2.4 trailer was hearing the final coil of Bahamut turn 11 theme. Or sorry, turn 12 theme. We were like, yo, that's so sick. What is that? It's not even that great of a theme. It's just like, it's very chilling.
No, it was just hype. It was just hype.
It was so chilling. It's like, it just made you feel like something very dire was happening. And I loved that about the 3.4 trailer. So I want to hear 2.4 trailer. So I want to hear.
So you're not looking forward to more.
Honestly, one of the 4 themes has got to be the friggin' more like all of Alex. Hey, listen, Alexander would do really well in New Jersey. Is all I got.
Of course he would. Of course he would.
We've got a nice mix of people who like metal and people who like So I think he would do well there. Yeah. He could just come out of the Jersey Shore. Just take down the entire show while he's at it. There you go. Just one arm out of the beach. And they're like, fuck! Come on, man. All right.
No, it's just a big raid. It's just a big raid once that happens.
Yeah, no problem. And then the goblins come pouring out. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the spectator mode for PvP. And the music.
Why spectator mode?
Well, because I'm someone who personally plans on using it frequently. So I want to see if it's a pain in the ass to use, how well it works.
I will definitely use it. I definitely want to see how it works. I'm kind of disappointed that they only limit it to 8 people per.
Yeah, you can't spectate the 8v8s. I mean, I get it. I'd have a hard time. Wait, what are you saying then?
No, they limit it. You remember how they said?
8 people can spectate. Honestly, there's more people than I thought they were going to let spectate. I thought they were going to limit it to 2 or 4. 8 people spectate, and that's the thing, though. It's like for 8 people spectating, the biggest question that isn't answered is, can you only spectate custom matches? Which I actually might say in the digest we're going to go over. I'll read it back again. But I would love to be able to just go into random matches and spectate those, but I don't see there being like a spectator's queue. I doubt they'll do that. I bet it's probably when you do a custom match, you're able to sign up as a role, either A team, B team, or spectator, and you all have to queue in together. That's what I imagine it's going to be like. So,
and another thing I'm curious about is how you can actually, sort through the matches that are going on. Is it?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I have a feeling that's not even going to be a thing.
Or is it? Yeah.
I have a feeling you're literally going to have to queue in with people making a custom match. Is how I think it's going to end up working. I would love for it to so League of Legends for some time had a spectate like top tier players kind of thing, and they got rid of it. And I was always one of my favorite things. So honestly, when I stopped playing League, I would just log into the League client just to watch the matches that were going on.
Hell, Paragon right now even has like a spectate where you can spectate any match. I think pretty much it's any match going on right now, or you can go back and watch the matches you've done. Now, that's a lot of server cost and whatnot, and for backup just for PvP. I don't think it's feasible to even have that, let alone ask for it. But it'd be nice.
The thing is, the reason why I don't see us being allowed to spectate any PvP match is on what the spectator is seeing versus what's live. And because of that, if they allow you to organize hey, we're gonna queue in as 4, dude, can you queue in at the same time and tell us what the other team is doing? That shouldn't be necessary because it's not a very secretive PvP mode. It's not like League of Legends or StarCraft where there's a fog of war.
It's pretty much straightforward.
But I still feel like they would use that as just Square Enix's mentality. They'd use it as a reason. Oh, they're ghosting or something like that. And also, I just don't think they are gonna think to let us spectate random matches, which, to be fair, is iffy whether or not it's actually a quality thing to allow. I personally would love to do it, but I'm one of very few that would probably utilize that, so it may not be worth getting the development right on that. I don't know.
To be determined.
To be determined, yeah, this Friday, because that is a big part of the live letter. They are doing a what's it called? A live demonstration of it. So we will literally get to see exactly everything. So the live demonstration they did of the double crossbar, they were getting that for spectator mode this time. So I don't want to hear any bitching.
It's okay. And please don't make it as convoluted as the double crossbar was.
Yeah, I don't think they can make anything as convoluted as the double crossbar, except for the triple crossbar.
Whenever that happens.
Whenever that happens.
But Hap, we're also getting another thing this coming patch, and well, you obviously know what that is. You don't need it, but you know what it is. Or do you need it? I don't know.
Tell me what it is.
Do you have a place of residence?
Mel has a place, and I'm a tenant.
Okay, so you might need it.
In case you guys ever get in a fight, there. It's just,
yeah, there you go. Apartments.
Yeah.
And we're finding out a little bit more about apartments. Actually, Hap was doing some.
What the hell?
So a little bit of math before the show. Math.
Yeah, sorry. I remember I told you about the audio lag I've been having on OBS. It just kicked in for a second right there. No idea what caused it. But I think the audio lag just corrected itself and it just mutes for a few seconds. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
It's just OBS too. It's it's not my Elgato. It's literally just OBS. So I don't know what the problem with OBS is right now. Meh.
Anywho, yeah, Hap was doing a little bit of math before the show in terms of how many apartments we are getting per server, per ward, whatnot.
Well, I mean, that's the big we had that discussion. I think it was last week, or it was with Ethis and Mary.
Yeah, the week before.
Where it was very unclear how many apartment buildings we were going to be getting.
It's still unclear, but we do have
we have wording.
We have wording, and we have a possibility based on your calculation. Why don't you go into a little bit more detail about it?
Well, so this information is coming out of the digest of the live letter 32. So usually weeks later after we've dissected the live letter and we've done the unofficial plus the ones that are translated on the spot by the community team. I know Devin is a big one at that. Reinhardt, Bayonne posts them, et cetera, et cetera. The whole community team comes together and works on that. We got their digest, the full-on official translation, approved, posted, everything. And on the apartment-style housing section, it reads, apartment-style housing will be added. These apartments will have a shared lobby and chocobo stables, which is, to me, I think that's new information.
A parking lot.
It's basically got a chocobo. So basically, if you have this, you have chocobo stables, which is something you didn't have with private rooms in a free company. You had to rely on the free company for the stable, or I'm trying to think of something else where you don't have your own stable. Essentially, you have your own stables here, and it's more affordable housing and whatnot. And it's automatically included in the price. You don't have to craft it or anything. That can be accessed by all the tenants. I wonder if that means you could feed any of the tenants chocobos, essentially, or somebody could feed.
I would think they would limit that.
No, I think they're going to let it. I think they're going to let you essentially feed any chocobo that's in there, that of people that are using it. It's a chocobo garage. It's choc garage. And so all that's going to be able to be accessed by all tenants. And it says, and I'm reading this word for word, each ward will have one apartment. Now, when it says apartment, it means an apartment building, because not one fucking apartment.
Yeah.
There's no lobby to share there if each one only has one fucking apartment in each one.
Yeah, just leave in the lobby.
What apartment building do you know that legitimately just says, yeah, we're just one apartment? That's it. You know what we call that? A house. It says each ward will have one apartment building, and it will cost 500,000 gil for a room.
So each ward, one building.
Ward is what it's what it says. Each ward.
Each ward.
Now let's lay out the math for this one.
Okay.
If they mean every ward, and not each housing district. There's districts, there's wards, and then there's a subdivision. Those are the three terms that we know. There's 12 wards. There's a subdivision for each ward, making it so there's essentially 24 wards per district. There's 3 districts. If I didn't fuck up the math, that means that each server would be receiving 36,864 apartments. Every server.
So we're good, right?
We're good. I still think that there's, like, when they said each ward will have one apartment building, I feel like they mean each district still. I feel like that's just, the word ward shouldn't have been used, but maybe that is what they mean.
It's kind of hard to, loosely translate ward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think this is the actual intent. And I think it's to prevent a shortage of housing, which this is damn near impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Like, everybody on the server is getting a fucking apartment. Like, nobody, well, I was about to say Greg or Donald, but yeah, everybody's getting an apartment. Fuck it.
So, according to what the chat is saying, a subdivision is considered part of the same ward, which would essentially cut this number in half. If a subdivision is considered part of a ward, it's not considered a separate ward altogether, which is acceptable. Okay. But even still, that would be 18,432. 18,432.
Everybody's still getting an apartment.
It's still more than I feel is needed. Well, I mean, that's a good thing, though, that they have more than it's needed.
So I'm trying to remember the last addition of plots. How many plots did they actually have?
They added wards 9 through 12 and a subdivision for each. So essentially it was 24 new sets of 30 houses. So 60 times 12, essentially.
So 720. So
yeah. And I know on Gilgamesh they were bought up in under 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we're not going to have to worry. You're not going to have to worry about time. Go get it when you want to.
I guess at this point it's a matter of people who want to buy apartments in the same ward. I mean, there's 512, so I don't imagine each building has 512 apartments in it. I don't imagine that people who don't have housing together would probably want to arrange being in the same lobby. Like, hey, let's all be in the same building, so like on Friday nights we can come out and hang out in the lobby or something. I feel like that's the intent of what they want to do. I don't feel like that's how it's going to end up working. But, yeah, I mean, that's good. If that's actually true, that's a good step towards fixing housing. The problem is still that it's still segregated from the rest of everyone else who's got the regular houses. And essentially, I don't know. If I'm not a part of that apartment, can I come over and visit the apartment building? Like, hey, my friends...
Should be able to. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if those lobbies are going to let anyone in. That's the thing that we don't know yet. If that lobby is essentially considered its own zone and anybody with or without an apartment can hang out in that lobby. That's a tough thing to call.
I'm just thinking it should work the exact same way the wards and...
it could.
Pretty much work now.
But it could not. Glass half full, glass half empty.
Fucking pessimist.
Says the guy who thinks we're not getting a trailer this Friday.
That's just realism. It's not even being pessimistic.
No, based on their trends, we're getting a trailer this Friday.
Okay.
You know me, I literally just say, hey, they do this every time. They're probably doing it again. Right. And occasionally I'm wrong, but 90% of the time I'm right. That's where Hap Jesus comes from.
Just don't be mad when the trailer doesn't show up until next week. Don't be mad.
If it's not this Friday, it'll be Monday. But it's gonna be Friday.
Okay. Another thing that was brought up in Eorzea Times.
So this comes. So to clarify, this is an interview that Finaland.com posted, where both Finaland and Eorzea Times were sitting in and asking their own questions. So we're transitioning from the Digest, which really didn't have much else going on from it. Like, I mean, I guess there was probably some other translations there that, like, I know they called platoon squadrons in the Digest, which was, who cares? Me? No.
Platoons.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna jump into that interview and some of the highlight details there before moving on to the Lodestone and some of the things they've posted in the last week.
So one of the things, one thing that gets brought into a discussion a lot of times is, when are we getting rid of PS3 support?
Yeah, when the fuck are we getting rid of PS3? That's fucking the game up so much. I hate that thing.
Oh God!
Says most of the internet.
Pretty much. If you're on PlayStation 3, if you're playing this on PlayStation 3, first of all, sorry.
God bless you. You're a brave person. You're fighting for our right to hold on to last-gen consoles.
But according to the interview, Yoshida says, as we have announced before, we are going to continue support of the PS3 for the rest of 3.0, basically.
Yeah, which we've known.
The status has not been changed. Whether or not it's going to change after that, we're going to make the official announcement when the time comes. So if you can wait for the announcement, that would be great.
In other words, we're not going to tell you yet, which is the smart thing to do. A lot of people say they should just announce they're getting rid of the damn thing.
I agree.
I don't think they should. They shouldn't announce it yet. I'm not saying they shouldn't get rid of it. I'm saying they shouldn't announce it.
Announce it? Why shouldn't they announce it? I mean, because it's common, like, I think in my head, it's common knowledge that eventually it's going to get phased out.
And 4.0 is a likely candidate for when. The thing is, if they basically say to anyone who's playing on the PS3 right now, we're going to stop supporting your console, that person is one of two reactions. Well, if it's not going to continue, I'm not going to keep playing my character because I can't afford to upgrade.
Or go get a PS4.
Or they'll go get a PS4 or a PC. And you don't want to take the chance that option number 1 is larger than option number 2.
Is it? Will it be? No. Because I think, honestly, more and more people, and this was this coming off the heels of the PlayStation 4 Pro announcement, which in itself was a disaster. More people are going to buy PS4s. We all know that. It's the holidays. It's like people are getting ready for it. It's the same price as the current model, if anything. So more people are going to buy PS4s. As you said, there's the option of them saying, well, fuck it, I'm
done.
I'm done. I'm deleting my character. Fucking have this shit. It's been good. It's been a good run, but I'm writing out PS3. If so, really.
Ride or die, baby. Ride or die. I have a feeling that it'll be FanFest, our FanFest, that they'll make the announcement. I think at that point it's kind of far enough along. Like 3.4 is out, 3.5 is at that point less than 3 months away because it'll have been about about 2.5 weeks after the patch. So it's like 2 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days till the next patch, essentially. And it's a good enough time where it's like the Climax of Alexander came, we let you finish that. You got one more patch coming, then after that, PS3's done. Now I want to ask you the question that I guess a lot of people kind of speculate. What do you think the PS3 actually holds back? And don't say everything. Give me a fucking educated answer.
I honestly don't think it holds anything back. The one thing...
Now, okay, let's redefine. It doesn't have to be a technical standpoint of something that can't be added, like a user interface. Think of it more like something that the PlayStation 3 as a piece of hardware can't handle.
everything we're doing now.
Can it handle it now? I guess you have a point. No, it really can't.
You basically asked me, like, give me something that can't handle everything we're doing now. What did you expect me to say? Yeah, like, so many people, I will say one thing about the PS4 Pro. It's quote-unquote future-proof. For a while. PS3, is there really any reason to revisit PS3? I mean, right now we have PlayStation Now, which isn't the entire library, but it's eventually going to get added. That crosses off one reason. A lot of games have stopped online support through PS3. So really, it's like they're really crossing off the list of why you should have a PS3. And there's like
I have one good reason, sir, why I have a PS3. Okay. Because I have the backwards compatible piece of shit that from when it first came out, and that's what I'm playing Final Fantasy XII on right now before next year. I had to go buy a PlayStation 2 controller with a PlayStation 2 to USB adapter in order to make it work, but I fucking made it work. Okay, that's no other reason. Oh, and Demon Souls. That's like the only fucking 2 reasons to own a PS3.
Yeah. Other than that, no. The devs and Sony itself are just telling you, go get a PS4. Hell, this is the SKU when the PS4 first came out, or a newer PS4 with a better hard drive. Go get a PS4.
Yeah.
You got better stuff. You have cookies.
Cookies? Are they moist?
They're moist.
Are they moist cookies?
Moist. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I think the only thing I could think of really is anything that has more than like 20 people on the screen. Because hunts, PS3 players can't do hunts.
Oh, God.
PS4 players still even practically have to install an SSD to get to a hunt in time.
Let alone like CT or anything like that.
24-mans usually drop frame rate massively. When they literally have to add new user interface for just the PS4 and the PC because the PS3 literally can't handle anything else. It literally is at a point where it can't handle new UI functions. It's just overloaded.
Go buy a PS4.
Go buy a PS4. In other words, I think they're gonna stop it in 4.0. I've thought it for a long time now. I think they are gonna stop PS3.
Crazy. That is a good point. Hell, we can barely do it. PS4 players can barely do runs.
I just said that, motherfucker. You didn't even acknowledge me.
No, not. Here's ones on. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's still same deal. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, those days of PS Odin. Nobody even does. Fucking PS3 player can do Odin no problem nowadays. Nobody does that shit.
The only problem we have is fucking load times.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's
me trying to get into an S rank is fucking painful because I usually end up missing every hunt because loading in it takes maybe 20 to 30 seconds. Hold on, let me.
Oh, he's gonna go test it. What a boss.
Let me just go to the
What a boss.
Let me just go to the gold sauce to see how long it takes.
What a boss.
But yeah.
I can hear you moving through those menus.
Point being, go get a PS4. That's all.
Essentially, yeah. And then go get a PS4 Pro. Oh, he's counting. Look at that. Still counting. Still counting. Still counting.
16 seconds.
16 seconds to load into the gold saucer on this PlayStation 4 with no SSD. Yeah. You, sir, need an SSD.
Yeah.
A solid state drive. Okay, so the next thing that came out of that interview was talking about patch patterns.
And we've kind of talked about this in recent shows. Just bringing up, and what was it? It wasn't Gamescom. It was the E3.
It might have been. It was E3 or Gamescom because this question has come up a lot more frequently in a lot of interviews. Where I guess they feel like the more they ask him, the more it sort of pushes urgency. Like our readers have been asking this, and then other places our readers have been asking that.
Our readers, aka everybody, everywhere he goes.
Yeah, essentially.
Like, I just want him to say, I know. Like, again, please, just...
That was great. I know!
I know! God.
So the big thing here is just the way content's released. You know, the fact that it's... I essentially can tell you, Slyth, right now, that patch 3.5, not 3.4, which we actually do already know what's coming in 3.4. 3.5 will, at the minimum, have 2 new dungeons. One of them's part of the main story. It will have the final 24-man raid for the Shadow of Mox storyline. It will probably take items from Alexander the Creator and take most of them off the weekly lockout. It'll have 1 new primal, Zervan, the demon of the Warring Triad. It'll have new main story quests. It'll have new Hildebrand quests. Maybe it'll have new Scholasticate. We don't know about that yet. But I can essentially tell you everything that's going to be in 3.5, at least as a baseline.
Yeah, and that's the consistency.
And that's the question, and that's the thing he argues. He was like, and he's argued this for a very long time, where he goes, we want to innovate, we want to bring new things, but we need that level of consistency, because other MMOs either fail to bring that consistency, and that's how they fall, or you're World of Warcraft and you don't give a fuck and you just wait 14 months to release something that's good, and then release stuff for like another 8 months, and then wait another 14 months to release stuff, and people will still play your game the whole fucking time.
Sounds like he had a chip on his
shoulder. Well, he's actually said we don't have the luxury of being able to do what Blizzard does. This was a long time ago. This was before Heavensward even launched. He said we don't have the luxury. If we don't release a patch every 3 to 3.5 months, people will stop playing our game. The problem is that some people with the predictability of a patch also stop playing because they're like, I already know it. Yeah, it's like I already know what's going to happen. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that again.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the question. Would you rather have a consistent patch schedule with the occasional diversions, like Palace of the Dead, which he keeps reiterating is very challenging, from 101 to 200, whatever the fuck that ends up meaning? If I get enough Manticores, I'm finding it hard to believe that those Rage Commanders won't shit on everything in the 101st to 200th floor.
It'll be 2 or 3 hits.
No. It'll one-shot them, Sly. That's the whole point of the Manticore.
No, if it's going to be that much harder, it's not going to make Rage Commanders obsolete, but still, like, you can still get something out of it.
Yeah, I guess that's the... I mean, would you... If let's say they took an extra month. Let's say they moved the patch cycle to 4.5 months.
No, I don't like change!
Shut up.
No!
Shut up.
No!
Stop being the internet right now.
No!
Stop being the internet. So let's say they changed the patch cycle to 4.5 months, and they added another boss in a raid, or they added another 2 bosses to Alexander, and the difficulty curve was better because of it, or maybe they finally got to bring in another dungeon, or they got to develop something in an extra amount of time. What would you be okay with it being consistently, still consistent, 4.5 months? As opposed to 3.5. It's still consistent, but it's 4.5.
Still consistent.
And they're not developing Lords of Verminion in those 4.5 months. I can promise that. Like, that's part of the deal that I'm proposing to you right now.
The key word was consistent. So yes, as long as they're consistent with it, sure. If it's going to be more time, more polish, a little bit more content, then sure, why not? But again, speaking on behalf of the internet, no. No, that change! No! No! And then they essentially get over it.
Yeah, that's essentially what happens with everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I guess just get those men. Get that man the other 2 developers he needs. The other 2 experienced, qualified developers that falls into his lap, and he makes shit better, according to what he said. Whatever it is that they are going to do. What was also really funny was the way that Yoshi answers that question is usually very much the same. Where he says, people, you know, there's the consistent content, we have the release schedule, you at least know something of what you can expect, and we throw a few curveballs here and there. And then the interviewer asks Yoshi, what is your favorite food? And he goes, my favorite meal? ramen with beef in it. And then the guy who's asking the questions asks, so, I mean, you like it, but if you ate it every day, you'd eventually want something different, right? You could put meat in there, you could put vegetables in there.
Oh, I see where they're going.
You can add more salt, more pepper, but it's still ramen, and you're gonna get sick of it at the end of the day. And then I love this. He goes, "What if I don't want ramen anymore? I want a pizza." Just like, first of all, that's fantastic. Second of all, I don't know how I feel about this analogy outside of its very comical. I don't want ramen. I want pizza.
Fuck that! I want primal burgers. Fuck that. No.
I want that Titan burger, dude.
That Titan burger, man.
I heard the Titan burger is one of the best like meals you can get on the menu there, because most things are like all right. I hear at Eorzea Cafe, but the burger is a burger. Like, you just don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you feel about that analogy when talking about and about 14 in general? Put pizza rolls in the ramen. Yes. I'm doing it.
That's a terrible fucking idea.
That's a great idea.
No, God, no.
That is a great idea.
Hell no. Jesus. Ew. I get where they were going. It's kind of I don't know. It kind of seems like an annoying way to get there. Do you like ramen? Would you like to have ramen every day? Of course not. No. And he understands that. We're constantly getting new content.
Right.
It's not the same old style. It's not ramen. It's not the same ramen you're getting every fucking patch. It's a different type of ramen. But it's still
ramen.
It's still ramen.
Yeah.
It's like going to well, I can kind of see where they're going there. It's like going to a ramen shop and getting new ramen, like a new type of ramen every time you go. Hell, I do that. But it spices it up.
For me, it's kind of like, I really love the analogy because until he says he wants pizza, it's like, it makes sense. Like, if you had just stopped the analogy at before the pizza part, where you're like, you know, it's easy to get tired of ramen after all that, you know. But at the same time, it's like it's this game is what this game is. That's like asking for Call of Duty to add housing, you know. It's like it's Call of Duty every time. I just shoot people. I want to build a house. It's like, that's the wrong game that you're playing, man. That's just not what the game is about. Like, and
what if they did add housing?
Yeah, they'll add barracks. That's what they'll call them. There you go. But it's like, you're playing this MMO. That's what you're playing. At the core, it's always going to be the same. It's always going to be ramen. So asking for pizza is like asking to play a different game. So at that point, if you're feeling that way, that's when you go, okay, let me take a step back from the ramen. I'll not have it for a couple of weeks. I'll go eat some pizza.
I'll go get a burger, you know.
Every day for the next 2 weeks. And then I'll come back, and you know what? The ramen will probably be pretty refreshing.
Yeah.
That's how Yoshi P looked at it. He's like, you know, if you're getting tired of the same thing, just don't force yourself, because then you'll resent it. That's his thing. It's like, you'll resent it.
And even in my stream, we had a conversation about this in terms of, you know, the content and everything. Yeah, you have to realize, and this is the thing I realized, hell, even at, when we were talking to Matt and Devin at TwitchCon, we were like, just trying to fatten, these people play other games. This is not their, I mean, this is their life, yes, but hell, even they want to play other games sometimes.
And sometimes they don't want to eat ramen. I had to go there.
Yeah.
And that's actually, you know what's really funny about that? From all the people that I've met in the industry, I've talked to people who work on other MMOs who play Final Fantasy 14 like in their off time. And then I'm sure there are people who work at Square Enix who play World of Warcraft. Like, I could probably name a couple.
There are people who work at Blizzard who play Final Fantasy 14.
I know that for a fact as well. I could probably think of, you know, one or two people that, you know, I mean, it's just not gonna name them out loud. It's just they know who they are. It's just playing World of Warcraft for the Final Fantasy 14 team. It's just what you're doing. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good. Oh, you're writing that novel? Huh? Oh yes. Friends become enemies and enemies become friends. There you go. Now, what was interesting is that entire discussion has Yoshi P end it with this statement. I understand. I totally understand. So with 4.x series, we would like to give you some really new content and challenges. This is something that we would like you to look forward to.
No change. No change.
No change?
No change. No.
What could he possibly mean by new? Because when I hear new contents and challenges, you know what that makes me think? That's like, oh, there's the next raid. Like, oh, that's all it means. It's the next raid. It's the next raid. Unless they're developing something super secret.
Yes, maybe.
Do you think they have anything really new? Really new? On the chopping block?
New in terms of what? Because I can only think...
New in terms of what we can do now.
Wait. Well, the only thing I can think of is... So, 2.0 was dive bombs. 3.0 was, what, Twisters?
No, I think 3.0... No, 2.0 is dive bombs. 3.0 is definitely Faust.
Faust. Yeah, Faust. Okay, yeah, it was Faust. That might be something new they're talking about. The new... mechanic or thing that we're gonna have to get used to all
the new mechanic that's in every fucking raid.
Every fight. Yeah. God damn. I'm trying to think what else was there. Stacking. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is like the newest mechanic.
I wonder what they mean by new. That's just that when he says new, Diadem was new. Palace of the Dead was new.
Lords of Verminion
was new. Aquapolis was new.
New.
Yeah.
Out of that list, how many were
2
relatively successful? Yeah, two.
I did Aquapolis for like the first time in forever the other day. I got a nutkin. So.
I just talked about that. I need to do Aquapolis again.
Well, Tequila sent me like 20 fucking maps in my inbox, so I was like, let's just fucking go through these.
Maps in my inbox.
Well, they're his, but because we're doing them together,
yeah.
It's quicker for us to each do 2 as opposed to me trading him or sending them back to him all. Or all of them to him. So, yeah, I got a nutkin. From his map, but he told me I could have it, so... That's a mill.
So in terms of looking at new things, we're looking at about a 50% success rate.
I guess Feast kind of counts as something new, yeah. It was quasi-successful. It was more successful at the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that counts. I'll count that, yeah.
Yeah.
Dueling's new. It's fucking been in MMOs for 20 years now, but it's new to us.
So, even with that track record, excuse me. I think they have. Shouldn't say it loud, but yeah, they should be able to take these kind of risks and do new things. Yeah, that's a pretty good track record for stuff that's new. As far as what we see, yeah, it's not always going to be successful. There's going to be one thing that's fluff and nobody's going to care about. There's going to be that Lords of Verminion 2, and nobody's going to do. It's going to be new. You're going to wonder why they wasted development time on it. But it's new, and they took that risk. And at the end of the day, I'm okay with that.
Is it bad that I'm imagining like an Alexander mission in like in the Lords of Verminion campaign? I think that would be great.
That's bad.
I would love to fight Brute
Justice.
That's
actually pretty fucking bad.
I would love to fight a Brute Justice minion or a Manipulator minion in Lords of Verminion. Because honestly, some of the single player campaign things in Lords of Verminion were fantastic. I would love to do that. Is Lords of Verminion our pizza? Maybe with anchovies.
God, yes.
Yeah, Lords of Verminion's pizza, all right. Pineapple ham and anchovy pizza.
Without the anchovies, that shit sounds actually pretty good.
No, a lot of people hate. That's like a thing.
People Hawaiian pizza?
A lot of people say Hawaiian pizza is heresy.
Yeah.
I see it a lot. There you go. All right, so The next thing that they asked him about was open area content. Like, yeah, it sounds familiar.
Where haven't we heard this before?
Where have we heard this? The interviews right before Heavensward, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they essentially want to make it so that there's like people need to group up to fight enemies. That's just an area where people need to group up to fight enemies. An open world area, not that diadem.
We're still gonna figure out how to solo this shit anyway, so it's going to make it irrelevant.
Monsters do not stop when you're sprinting. In other words, they leash you forever. They don't leave you alone if you try to run the fuck away.
That's PSUD.
Yeah, exactly. You can defend places, you can take places over. The area itself evolves around it. So he says that whole evolving of the area and changing it and instancing it probably won't happen. That being said, he did say the development team is currently creating something similar to the content you suggested. Something like having a gigantic monster popping somewhere and you need to have an alliance to actually beat it. This kind of content we are creating is a new idea, but I must say that something like affecting the map by your actions, like a meteor falling from the sky and hit the ground. Gee, I wonder where that's been done before. That could not happen. We are trying to make a similar content, so please wait for more details. I don't know if that's Diadem they're talking about. Because Diadem is where they said they're trying to do those full area raids for Diadem, where you need all the alliances in the area, or if this is something for 4.x. I can't determine which one. I think it's Diadem.
I think it's for 4.x.
I hope. I want to see Diadem be successful in 3.5 when it comes back, but
the way it's being described, it just sounds like more enemies like Odin and Behemoth.
That's the thing. In the 4.x areas, and it's just an open world area, I'm gonna fucking Zerg it with the other 300 people that show up.
Man,
if only there was technology to make it so that a boss's like damage taken changes depending on how many people are nearby. I don't know if we have the technology for that yet. I think we might be a little bit.
I think we have the technology.
I don't know if we have the technology for that yet, Sly.
We have the technology.
I don't know if we do, man. I'm pretty sure that's never been done before in the history of ever, especially not in rivaling MMOs. There's no way it's been done before. There's no way. Couldn't be done.
Man, you really got that chip on your shoulder, don't you?
It's never been done. We don't have the technology.
You sure? You sure you're good?
No, I'm just saying we don't have the technology. It's never been done before.
All right.
Yeah, so it must be a fate. There you go. When in doubt, fates.
Fates.
There you go. That's funny. Anyway. So is that, do you think that that's what it is, that's in 4.x? What would it even be? Like, reasonably, what would it be that isn't Diadem in 4.x? Like, what's the difference?
No crafting or gathering. I mean, no gathering.
Audio cut out there for a second, so do you want to say that again?
Yeah, the difference is no gathering. That's the only difference I can see.
I'll take that.
Oh, no. No, because I'm still gonna want fish.
Oh, you're fucking not.
Yeah, I am. I haven't done fish and chill in a while. Well, I'm gonna want a fish. I mean, yeah, it's Diadem.
No hope.
It's Diadem.
No hope. No hope. Okay, so those are really the biggest points of that interview that I wanted to touch upon. I actually kind of want to take another look while we're discussing this next point and see if there was one other thing, because I feel like there might have been one other thing I wanted to bring up that I just didn't get into the notes in time because I was scrambling to do laundry. Laundry. Do you do laundry, Sly?
Of course I do.
Do you just look at the clothes?
No. I just
heat lasers. Clean them, fine laser, you just zap all the germs away from them and whatnot.
Pretty much. No, I just sit in my filth, that's all.
Yeah, it looks like, most of the other questions were like, what's about the next Fan Fest, or, why didn't you guys show up at Japan Expo? Yeah, there wasn't really much else that came out of there that was of major substance. But thank you, Finaland and Eorzea Times, for conducting said interview. It was a good interview. It was the right questions, some more serious questions, some more fun questions, and pizza. Pizza, peaches.
Ramen, pizza.
Peaches.
Pizza.
Peaches.
Pizza.
Peaches!
Fuck them peaches.
Peaches on pizza. Hey, you took the pineapple, you're taking the peaches, goddammit.
I'll be alright with the dessert pizza.
Alright, so before we close out this episode, there's a few other things to talk about. The small previews that we get on the Lodestone are usually not something I look forward to very much. But considering the dungeons that are in place here, I was actually quite interested to read what they had to say about Slythefox and the Great Cabal Library hard mode. So I am going to read for you, word for word, what it says about Slythefox, and then we'll talk about it, and then Great Cabal Library hard, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, Sly?
Sounds good.
Forced to flee the Black Shroud for fear of the elementals and their boundless wrath, the Ixal settled the windswept mountains of Slythefox more than 550 years ago. Since that day, they have labored tirelessly to eke out an existence in these harsh and unforgiving lands, slowly but surely expanding their dominion over the entire region. Yet the Ixal have never forgotten that which was once denied them, and so they seek divine intervention once more, to summon Garuda and beseech her strike down their enemies. In the shadow of the first mountain, the ritual nears completion, as a brave hero once more races against time to deliver the realm. Are they about to make Garuda a fucking dungeon boss? Do we really need this?
Birthdays! Woo!
This better be like a really fucked up version of Garuda, like these Ixal from Slythefox see Garuda differently than the Ixal of Korthus or some shit.
Yeah.
Because I am not in any way excited about fighting. Like, maybe we don't fight Garuda. Maybe we fight the king of Slythefox, like the king of the Ixal, and then Garuda gets summoned in a cutscene, and the Warriors of Darkness kill Garuda, and then there's a whole cutscene there.
Nope.
I think that's more likely to happen.
Nope. Bird tits.
I think that's more likely to happen than a Garuda dungeon boss. That's how I feel. What's more concerning to me about this description is that it claims the Ixal have complete dominion over Slythefox. That implies to me we're never going to Slythefox after this dungeon as a zone. Which, to be fair, it's not a very easy zone to get around in, but like this tells me we're like they're take the map of Eorzea and just cut Slythefox out. We're not going there.
I think it's too soon to say that.
That's how they make. I'm just saying that's how they make me feel when they put it this way. That we're essentially breaching the Ixal lands. I don't want that to be the case, but I feel like that's the case.
I feel like we're clearing it out.
We can't clear out all of Slythefox. We're not going to commit genocide, Sly.
And it's not genocide, but
we're not going to clear out an entire region of the map.
Once we can take care of upgraded bird tits.
How is this upgraded? She's gonna be like the easiest form of bird tits.
Yeah, it's not gonna be EX. So yeah, you're right. I don't know. She might have more sisters, more bird tits. But I feel like after we deal with that, maybe we will have access to it. Some kind of arrangement.
Well, even if we did have access, we wouldn't be having access for the next 7 months, 7 to 8 months. I just don't. I feel like it's getting the Yafim Saltmoor treatment. We're never going to go to the Yafim Saltmoor after that raid.
Never say never about that.
Okay, Bieber. Yeah. I went there.
I still think it's possible that we get access to the Saltmoor. This seems a little less likely, but I still think one day we might actually get access to the Saltmoor.
I would love that. I've seen the way they've handled areas before, and I'm not confident in that whatsoever.
Yeah, plus we don't even know the new 4.0 areas.
No, we have not a fucking clue. And there's not a whole lot of our continent left, which is why the ocean is becoming a far more likely thing. Oh, there's going to be Emerald Weapon out in the ocean.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Totally.
But the next dungeon, of course, one of my favorites, being a hard mode, Great Google Library, or Google. I just call it Google. Google.
Great Google Library, yeah.
Great Google Library. Even the quest. Let me Google that for you.
Let me Google that for you. Google. Let me Google that for you. I mean, literally, that is what.
Let me Google that for you.
Let me Google that for you. Let me Google that for you.
Yeah. But the description being, though long since abandoned by Charlie
Start over.
Keepers. Great Google Library.
Start over your audio cut. Start over.
God damn it, OBS. Though long since abandoned by Charlian keepers, the Great Google Library does not want for visitants, its halls ever stirring with the voidsent guardians who walk its corridors. The danger at every turn, the fool who dares trespass here would find not wisdom, but certain doom. Yet it was not long ago that an intrepid adventurer braved the deepest depths of this forbidding vault of knowledge, returning unscathed and wiser for the experience. A feat of daring that would be sung of the realm over. Mayhap that is why an anonymous individual would beseech that self-same champion to return in search of long-forgotten knowledge. One can only hope this venture proves yet another enlightening lesson.
Well, it sounds like it's more story-oriented, but it's still not a main scenario dungeon. We're going in there to obtain some type of knowledge, but it's not the type of knowledge that affects the main scenario.
We just want to read.
We just want to read. I mean, to be fair, that's all Ethos wants.
That's all Ethos wants. It's just an instance Great Google Library.
Wouldn't it be some shit if, like, there were clues across all the books in the library to get to, like, the last room or some shit? And the clues were different every time. You had to find, like, keywords in the book. That no one would ever do this dungeon, ever. As much as I'm okay with that.
Remember that idea, those ideas we were talking about last week in terms of dungeons and doing something new?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yeah, good luck ever. Like, you thought it was bad when you got fucking Ravana and everyone starts leaving, or Steps of Faith and everyone starts leaving. People gotta read. They fucked.
I'm sorry, it's just the way you...
It's true. It's true. They're fucked. This isn't Harry Potter. This is fucking lore. Yeah, the final boss is.
People gotta read.
I'm just saying. God. And the final boss, yeah, and then for the final boss, the only way to damage him is to, like, answer his trivia questions by stepping on, like, the right answer, like A, B, C, D. And you need to have all, like, you have party members.
This is LeVar Burton.
God damn it, Sly.
Take a look to the book.
That would make for a hell of a dungeon guide.
Oh, man.
I'd have to know the answers to all the fucking questions.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, good luck getting people to fucking... Yeah, you have to answer riddles, essentially. Where it's like, oh, when... I don't know, when was... It fucking just make Ethos a boss! That's all I'm trying to say, is make Ethos the last boss. It's like Ethos... It's like Ethos is just, like, in his chair, and he's just like this, and you go into the last room, and he's just like... Hello, and welcome to Eorzea. And then he just starts asking you questions. Good news, Sly. You might actually beat that dungeon. There you go. The true Eorzea built into the game.
No, I still want LeVar Burton as a boss.
I'm sure you do.
Yes.
These dungeons both have a minimum item level of 210 as well. So not out of the ordinary. I think the last ones had a required of 195. Something like that. 190, 195 in that range. Sometime. Yeah, it's Ragtime Mouse. True or false? There you go. Last boss can be Ragtime Mouse from Final Fantasy IX. And Wiguchi. Better get reading. But yeah, and so those two dungeons coming out. There was also the main scenario preview, which really didn't preview much of all. Now, there's actually... I was going to say there's room for discussion. But there's no confirmation of discussion, because they so the only sentence we have here is, after 1,000 years of bloodshed and sorrow, the shade of Nidhogg, Rage Incarnate, fell at last to the Warrior of Light. So it was that the Dragonsong War drew to a close, and the survivors, bloodied and unbowed, could begin to pick up the pieces. A new day dawns in Ishgard, and her champions may rest easy, if only for a moment. For every ending marks a new beginning. That literally tells you dick all about the main scenario, and you have but 3 pictures to determine what the hell is going on.
That last one, though.
Honestly, for me, the last one isn't the one that makes me think the most. It's the second one.
Really?
So, what I think this is Ethos's theory, but I've heard it tossed around a little bit, is that second image is actually the former leader of Al Amigo before the Garleans took it over, essentially, and the leader of the resistance, and he's also the guy with the mask that we saw. It's not fucking what's his name. And the other theory is that Ida is actually his child, and that's why she's drawn.
So Ida's Al Amigan?
Well, that's been the working theory since her and Papalimos showed up there, and she is a monk, which is a very Al Amigan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the working theory is right now when it comes to that second image. How do we feel about that? Ida's daddy.
What if Ida's daddy is not name escapes me now. Garlean. I can't think.
I don't know.
I just haven't done Ultimate in ages. But yeah, who were we thinking it was?
We thought it was either Gaius or Nero, and that they essentially had turned their backs on the Empire.
Could Gaius be her daddy?
It's not Gaius. She's not Garlean. She could be Garlean, in all honesty.
Remember when we found out about?
I'm not thinking that she is, but that's been a
Remember
reason.
when we found out about Lucia?
Yeah.
It's okay. First of all, Ida's head has been always covered by the turban.
Yeah, we discussed this with Ethis
on the
episode.
We don't know.
Yeah. We discussed this with Ethis on the whole Ida is Garlean. I don't think she's the child of Gaius. What do you think? Imagine she's the child of Gaius, and you'd think he'd make some sort of acknowledgement towards her at this point. If she was actually his child in any way. Or he didn't know because he's just fucking all the Garlean hoes. That could be Gaius's thing before Livia. He's Big Daddy Wolf. That's all you need to be when it comes to the Garlean Empire.
Still in the realm of possibility, I'm saying.
It still is in the realm of possibility. I like the idea of this being the Al Amigan prince or king, or maybe the king was killed and this is the prince, etc., etc. But I'm leaning away from him being Garlean in the first place, and I'm leaning away from Ida being Garlean. I'm not going to throw the idea out, but it's possible. Any input there?
No. No, man.
Great input. Great input. Yeah, and apologies for the audio, guys. It's OBS that's throwing my audio out of whack. Whenever I say, hey, there was an audio blip, it's when my voice sync gets thrown off. It's just something with OBS in particular. I don't know what's happening with it. I gotta...
So your camera looks like one of those old school Hong Kong action movies? Thank you for coming.
Godzilla.
Hey, the realm.
Thank you for coming to State of the Realm. Hi. Okay. On that note, and that's it for news for this week. We kind of expected this to be a short episode.
Light week.
Light week. But next week we'll be talking about the live letter.
Live letter.
The trailer.
Looking forward to 3.4.
Okay, to be fair, if the trailer's not out Friday, it's out Monday or Tuesday. Come on now.
That's what I said, next week.
But when I said end the trailer, you gave me a dirty look. Like it wasn't going to happen.
Still don't think it's going to happen.
Before Tuesday, it's going to fucking happen, all right?
Yeah, so we'll basically be going over the live letter preview for a little State of the Realm preview of 3.4.
Yeah.
What we're thinking, what we're expecting based off the live letter, all that jazz. And then the week following that episode, it's 3.4.
Yep.
It's going to be a long fucking day.
It's going to be a long day, and it's going to be a long show. I got to figure out if I'm going right into Alexander the Creator early that morning. Well, I'll probably try to do everything possible. I'd like to clear A9 Savage the day of its launch. I don't know about 10, 11, and 12, but no, not 12. I'm not clearing 12 in less than 24 hours.
When are you going to do Sophia?
I think that my group has decided we'll do A9 Savage first, and then we'll go beat Sophia. I think that's what the plan is, but I guess that depends on people's availability. If people are taking off from work, if I know one of our raid members said he'd actually prefer to craft the entire day and make us all of our 250 armor. So that's a possibility.
That's actually forward thinking.
That's Ash thinking.
That is Ash.
Ash is literally gonna be a friggin' 20 billionaire by the end of this patch with the weapons. It's gonna be in fucking sane, in super sane. What?
Did you?
What? I say that all the time, Sly. I literally can't go one day without saying that.
But yeah,
what are your plans for patch day?
My plans: wake up, do main story, do Sophie EX, Wondrous Tales. Try to do a little bit of it.
You're not gonna do the creator normal? Like the creator normal is nowhere on that list? It's the normal. It's gonna take like an hour.
Normal, yes.
I'm watching you, Sly.
I know you are.
Sly day.
I'm trying to think the order of what, like, because I have all day to do this, then I have to do the show, then I have the rest of the night to do it. So I'm gonna try to squeeze in as much as I can for the show.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
I believe in you, Sly.
Or don't, because you got shit to do yourself.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna be live streaming that whole time.
Pretty much.
Whole time.
Lots of hap coffee.
Must be nice to play all day on Patchmas. Yes, it is, Lux. Yes, it is. Must be great to work all day during Patchmas. I'm sorry. But anyway, guys, on that note, we're going to wrap up the show for the week and move on over to the post-show. Sly, hit him with the knowledge, my man. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on twitch.tv/like.
Muted. It audio. It audio fuck.
And thank you so much, OBS, for fucking
like
up my shit.
My OBS is like, Sly, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much. OBS hates me. Thanks for ruining my rigmarole. You can find me on twitch.tv/slyakagreysquirrel. You can find me on Instagram at, don't say it did it again.
No, it didn't.
You better.
I'm just laughing.
You can find me on Instagram at Slyaka07. You can find me on Twitter at Slythefox. You can find me on Plot 14 Ward 5. Every time I look at you, I think that it's going to turn again.
I'm just looking at the chat laughing.
You can find me on Behemoth Plot 14 Ward 5 on the Lavender Beds, where I am now leveling my MLG 420 Blaze It class. So, yeah, that's pretty sure. No! Machinist!
Oh, somebody told me you were going to go start healing.
Who told you that?
Somebody. Adam.
Oh.
See,
Adam, we need to have a talk.
Yeah, look, see, he's right there.
Yeah, we're going to have a talk. Don't listen to Adam. I'm never, ever.
Remember when you said that about tanking, too. Now look at that warrior, buddy. Yep. You fucking liar. Anyway, I'm the other guy from the show. You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all those fancy places that, like, people go sometimes and things. And tomorrow, I'm going to be at GameStop Expo in Anaheim. That's going to be fun. I gotta get on a train early in the morning, get over there, get my press badge, check in the hotel, and I'm Gucci. If you're in...
You can find him on Google.
You can find me on Google. Let me Google that for you.
Let me Google that for you.
Oh, so if you're in the Anaheim area, you type !Expo in the chat, buy a ticket, come out. I've heard really good things about the GameStop Expo. So that means I won't have a stream tomorrow, but I'll have a late stream on I'll have like a 11 a.m. stream on Thursday. All right. Okay. Is that cool?
Okay.
Is that fine with you, Sly?
It's moist.
Moist. It's very moist.
Yeah.
This entire episode was quite moist. Yeah. All right. Oh, God damn it. All right. All right. On that note, everyone, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for joining me and putting up with OBS being a butt. We'll see you next week. And until then, take care.
See you next week.
Hey, there we go.